All right, so I guess it's time to start. And well, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. And today we're here to talk about Zabbix 5.0 LTS, and this is our latest release. Before I start, let me introduce myself. My name is Alexey Vladishev. I'm a founder and the CEO of Zabbix. I've been working with Zabbix for more than 20 years already. Before I will go deep into new features of Zabbix 5.0, let me make a quick recap of Zabbix 4.2 and 4.4. Since we had 4.0, which is LTS, and now 5.0 LTS, I think it's interesting to know what we have introduced in 4.2 and 4.4 as well. Just very quickly, Zabbix 4.2 was released in April last year. It came with the support of the high-frequency monitoring with the throttling. I think this is good, very interesting feature, especially for large-scale monitoring. And also, we introduced support of HTTP agent, which really helps to communicate with external APIs to grab data using HTTP protocol. And this way, we also introduced support of data collection from a Prometheus probes. Preprocessing, it got a huge improvement thanks to the validation rules and support of JavaScript. So now it's absolutely possible to transform data, to transform collected data in any way we want. Again, for better scalability, we introduced the preprocessing by proxies, and we also introduced enhanced tag management. So this meta information, those tags, it can be used for problems and events. Zabbix 4.4 that was released like around 9 months ago. It came with the new agent. I will talk about the new agent today a little bit. It came with the support of webhooks for alerting, notifications, for integration purposes, support of timescale DB, the built-in knowledge base for metrics and triggers. So now all information which you basically, when you describe the item or triggers, this information is very well visible in Zabbix UI. And we have introduced as a standard for Zabbix templates as well. But now let's talk about Zabbix 5.0. 5.0, this is LTS release, and LTS stands for long-term support. It basically means that Zabbix 5.0 will be supported for 5 years. So that's why this release is really important for us. And Zabbix 5.0 LTS, once again, it was released yesterday. Yeah, so it's very fresh and it's very hot. Now, if you look at the integration page on Zabbix.com, Zabbix.com/integrations, you could see that Zabbix can monitor many different things, and also it can be integrated with other systems as well. So basically, for data collection, we normally use a template. We create our own templates. We create our own plugins for example, for the new Zabbix agent. This way, we collect data. But from the other hand, we want Zabbix to be integrated with, say, ITSM systems or alerting system, and here we use the webhook-based integrations. So now Zabbix 5.0 comes out of the box with integrations with different ticketing systems like Jira, Jira Service Desk, OTRS, ServiceNow, Zendesk, and some others. Also, out of the box, Zabbix comes with integrations with a number of alerting systems like Slack, Microsoft Teams, Mattermost, VictorOps, PagerDuty, Discord, and some others. So you install Zabbix, and basically you get those integration in a box. You don't have to look for those integrations share.zabbix.com or somewhere else. Also, in regards of the templates and plugins, there are a number of improvements as well. So now we have officially supported templates for monitoring for a number of applications, like a few databases like MySQL and Postgres, HA Proxy, Memcached, Nginx, Windows, Linux, obviously, Apache, Elasticsearch, and some others. So install Zabbix and get those templates. Now it is very easy to contribute to Zabbix. If you have your plugin or a template, you just follow this very simple procedure, 3 steps. You sign the Zabbix contributor agreement, you make a Zabbix pull request, and if your pull request is fine and we are ready to integrate your solution into Zabbix, then we will integrate it, and it will be officially supported by Zabbix team. So it's really kind of a win-win situation for all of us. Zabbix is a free and open source monitoring solution, as you probably know. We don't ship any kind of closed source enterprise version of Zabbix, so all enterprise features of Zabbix comes for free in a free and open source package. So it's a free software, but we also want to make Zabbix available to you. We are trying to kind of to extend availability of Zabbix by supporting different distributions and providing packages for different Linux distributions, for example. We also create appliance images, and we also have a Zabbix available in the public cloud. So at this moment, Zabbix 4.4 is available in AWS, Azure, DigitalOcean, and Google Cloud. It's just one-click installation. You go to AWS, you select Zabbix server image, for example, and you install it with just one mouse click. But I believe that after a couple of weeks, Zabbix 5.0 will be available there as well. So let's talk about new features of Zabbix 5.0. 5.0, it comes with official support of the new Zabbix agent, Zabbix Agent for Linux and Windows platforms. I think this is a great news for all of us, because I really believe that Zabbix agent, our new Zabbix agent, is one of the most advanced monitoring agents of the market. It does support plugin infrastructure. It supports long-running scripts, parallel active checks, parallel passive checks, support of flexible intervals, support of persistent connections. It may accept incoming traps, events, any things you may imagine. It's all supported by the new Zabbix agent, and it's great that now it is officially supported for Linux and Windows. But also for the new Zabbix agent, we introduced support of the persistent storage. And what does it mean? It means that if there is no connectivity between the Zabbix, the new Zabbix agent, you may configure it so that all collected data will be stored in a local file system. So in this case, just with a few configuration parameters, you tell Zabbix agent to keep collected data in a local file system, and if there is no connectivity, it will be there. When communication is back, Zabbix agent will push the data to Zabbix server. And there are a few use cases, so quite obvious use cases. It can be used if you have unstable communications, or you don't want to lose your data. Say you monitor some critical environments, or for example, you have a satellite connectivity between Zabbix server and systems you monitor, and the link is not always available. So this is very nice feature. In Zabbix 5.0, we also made a number of security-related improvements and enhancements. Now we support the webhooks over HTTP proxy. It basically means that before 5.0, if you wanted to integrate Zabbix server with some external system like a Jira running in a cloud, you have to open kind of a direct connection between your Zabbix server, say it is in your internal network with Jira running in the cloud. So it's not good from security point of view. So now you may basically pass through your traffic through HTTP proxy. Yeah, this way it's more secure, and it is more controlled way of communicating with different basically external systems and third-party systems. We also implemented ability to restrict and to tell Zabbix agents what checks are available and what checks are not available, thanks to support of whitelist and blacklist for those checks. So, for example, you want to monitor MySQL, you want to enable MySQL metrics only. In this case, you would define a whitelist like, okay, I would like to allow MySQL checks only, and I would like to deny anything else. Yeah, I don't want any other checks to be available on this specific agent. Or vice versa, you want to allow everything except a few checks. In this case, you would use a blacklist. For example, you don't want system run to be available, or you don't want access to a specific resources. So now it's all possible. And good thing about this feature is that it does support wildcards. So this way, it becomes much more flexible. Configurable ciphers for TLS. It's another nice feature, especially for those who cares about security very much, and it really helps you to be compliant with some external or some standards, security standards. So basically, it's about ability to have a wide list of ciphers. This may disable some ciphers which are considered to be weak. Yeah. What else? Now it is possible to have encrypted connection to the database. So if you run Postgres or MySQL with the Zabbix server or Zabbix proxy, the communication between Zabbix server and proxy and your database can be encrypted. Also, we use the strong hash SHA-256 instead of MD5, which is considered not secure anymore, for keeping hashes of user passwords in the Zabbix database. So another very nice feature which was introduced in 5.0, this is the support of secret user macros. What does it mean? It means that if you want to keep some sensitive information, like say user passwords or tokens or maybe usernames or some secret URLs in a user macros, you may do this now. Basically, there are two types of user macros supported at this moment: the text, like a normal text, as we have now, and also secret text. And if you use a secret text, then the value of the user macros cannot be retrieved in UI in alerts. It's masked. Okay, so there is no access to the value anymore. Yeah, very nice feature to take care about the security of your passwords and any other sensitive information you don't want to expose it to end users. So if you look at Zabbix, Zabbix uses secure communications everywhere, HTTPS or PSK or TLS-based communications between Zabbix server, all various components of Zabbix. We may use HTTP proxy to communicate with external systems. Obviously, UI communicates using HTTPS. There's encryption connection to the database, and now we may use a whitelist and blacklist for agent metrics. So I believe that security of Zabbix has been improved very much in 5.0. 5.0 also comes with the support of the SAML authentication for single sign-on. So in order to configure it, you just go to the administration section of Zabbix UI, and you may see that Zabbix UI looks a little bit different now. We'll talk about it a little bit later. And you basically configure SAML authentication. Okay, so what does it mean? And basically you enable SAML authentication, and then you may basically integrate Zabbix with the different identity providers. Yeah, like ADFS from Microsoft, or Okta, or also, or identity providers provided by public clouds like Azure, AWS, or GCP. So it really helps to establish kind of a single sign-on for all your applications, including Zabbix. Very powerful feature. There are many usability improvements in Zabbix 5.0. So Zabbix UI, it's got a little bit different UI. We moved top level menu to the left side. We really want to optimize Zabbix for wide screens. And the menu on the left side, it can be displayed in basically 3 different modes, like this one, or minimized, or hidden completely. I think it's really a little. It's really, I think for many users, especially for widescreen users, it's much better experience. Now it is possible to build dashboards much faster thanks to the copy-paste functionality for Zabbix widgets. What you do, if you want to copy a specific widget, you just go to the widget, copy it, and then you may paste it to the same or different dashboard. Yeah, so very easy. Yeah, I like this feature very much. And if you're building many dashboards on a daily basis, I'm pretty sure you will appreciate this feature very much. What else? You may also export graphs as PNG image. Okay, you just click on a dashboard widget, download image, and you get a PNG image. Okay, very, very simple. We also introduced filtering by text for some widgets. For example, for problem by severity and problem host widgets, now it is possible to make a filtering by problem tags. For example, if I want to see problems with the New York data center only, which are related to some services, I can use a filtering like this one. And in this case, here it is. This is New York data center, and this is a list of problems, basically not a list of problems, but aggregated view of problems in my New York data center, in Frankfurt data center with a different filter, and these are my production services. Okay, quite minor, but very, very nice functionality. UI models. Okay, it is possible now to create your own models to extend Zabbix UI. So this is very great news for those who used different plugins or tried to extend functionality of Zabbix front end, or maybe created some views. It's really easy to extend Zabbix UI right now, and this way, using your modules, which are absolutely independent of Zabbix code, you may create new pages, you may extend existing functionality of existing pages of Zabbix, you may create new menu entries, and the good thing about it is that you may use those UI models and share it with other Zabbix users, or take third-party UI models and use it on your systems. Yeah, so I like this very, very much. And this is a quick example of the module. It has a very simple structure, like a manifest file, like a module file, and a real code afterwards. So manifest file just describe what is the model is about, the name of the model, the versioning information, the URL, author name, and basically that's it. So Hello World model is very, very simple. For more advanced models, obviously we would need to, I don't know, to have some experience in coding PHP. Zabbix 5.0 front end also got new view monitoring host. Also, I think this is a very nice usability improvement, because this way you can see clearly, you may get the access to the list of monitored devices. You could see the name of the monitored device, IP addresses, availability, associated tags to this specific device, and also the number of problems. So how many problems we have with this specific host, with this specific service. And also, as you may notice, we don't have monitoring graphs and monitoring web anymore. The whole navigation now is through monitoring host. So monitoring host, you select host you would like to see more information, and then you click on problems of the host, you go to the graphs of the host, screens of the host, and so on. I think the navigation is also much more straightforward right now. Yeah, so no more monitoring web and no more monitoring graphs. It's all behind monitoring host view. And here we also have advanced filtering options, so you can filter by many different host and device attributes like IP address, DNS name, or tags. Yeah, so that's very, very nice. What else? Preprocessing. It's got a new operator, which is really simple, replace. So now it's possible to replace string with another string. And there are a number of typical use cases. Mappings, if you want to do some mapping from string to text, like in my example, up is 0, down is 1. So using those two preprocessing steps, I could basically transform string to text. Yeah. Sometimes we want to remove some characters, like I would like to remove some spaces from my digits, or I'd like to replace some characters, to replace the point with a comma, or vice versa. So it's all possible to done with this new operator. Now we also support a new operator for JSON path, this one, and it basically returns a property name of a matching JSON elements. For example, we are getting a list of services from a console, and it returns it in this format when ID, the property name is a service name. So this way, using this operator, we may get access to those service names. Nice feature is about threading for email notifications. Right now, all emails which Zabbix sends to us, they are very flat. Yeah, so we go to our inbox and we see, okay, flat messages. So no threading supported. But with Zabbix 5.0, all messages will be grouped by event ID, basically. Yeah, so all messages related to the same problem will be grouped by threaded by our email client. So I think it's nice kind of usability touch. What else? Zabbix 5.0 supports user macros for APMI usernames and passwords. Okay, so now we can use username and password here, and if you remember that we support secret macros, so use it for extra security. Yeah, remember, now we support secret macros for sensitive information. Now Zabbix also supports a mass update for user macros for hosts and templates. Really cool. So we basically select a number of hosts or a number of templates, and then we can add a new macro or update existing macro, remove it, or remove all macros of the selected host or a template. What else? The message templates for media types. What does it mean? It means that the message format, the templates for the messages Zabbix is going to send, now they configure it on a media type level. All right? So for example, if you want to know what is the template of the email messages Zabbix is sending right now, now we click on the email media type and we see, okay, so this is a format for a problem message, for problem recovery message, for discovery, for auto-registration messages, and so on and so forth. Yeah, so very simple. And if before we had to basically manage message formats on a level of individual action. Remember, when we defined action, we have to basically specify default subject and default message. Yeah. Now it's all done on a media type level. So very cool, and I like this improvement very much. Since we support JavaScript everywhere right now for preprocessing, we support JavaScript for webhooks. It's important to give users some nice tools to deal with JavaScript, to troubleshoot it, to create a new script. And we introduced a shell tool, basically command line tool, to test JavaScript. So again, it's for webhooks, it's for JavaScripts which are used for webhooks, for some complex preprocessing scripts, and this is basically how it works. It's called Zabbix.js, okay? And what it does, it executes a JavaScript code, our script, which takes some input and creates some output. That's very simple. So this way we may work on our scripts for webhooks and for preprocessing. I will give you a few examples. The first one. So this is a script return the logarithm value of the input. Okay, very simple. Okay, as input I give 10, and this is the output. The next one I would like to read. I would like to basically use my test.js and read JSON from a file, from my.json. I can do this as well. So I just specify -i. This is my input file, and then goes file name, my.json. All right. And the next one is that we do support debug logging. So if your script is complex enough and you'd like to understand what your script is doing, you may use a Zabbix.log function. Okay, so it will give you a little bit more of information of the internals, what is happening in the middle of your script. So this, I think, is very, very powerful tool, especially for those who prefer to work from a command line. Zabbix 5.0 triggers now support text operations. I think this is very, very useful, an extremely useful feature for some of us. Sometimes you really want to compare the text value with some constant, yeah, like a version number, or maybe we would like to compare a string we received for one item with another item, or we would like to compare a value with the previous value. Yeah, it wasn't possible before. Yeah, it only worked for the trigger expressions only work for numeric data, but now it also supports text data. Just a few examples. Yeah, what is possible. This way we may compare with the text constant, and we also support user macros as a text constant. Yeah, so for example, the Zabbix version, this is a user macro which will be replaced with the value of that macro. We may compare last value with the previous one, or we may compare values of absolutely different items. So it is very, very nice feature. Automation and discovery, number of improvements here as well. Now we support discovery for GMX counters, two new metrics, GMX.get and GMX discovery. For those who monitor Java applications, so this is very good news. And this is basically what we receive, and then we may do pre-processing and create items out of item prototypes using low-level discovery rules. Now we support also discovery of Windows performance counters using our Zabbix agent and the new Zabbix agent. So we've got perf counter discovery metrics again. This way we may discover, for example, the how many CPUs our Windows server has, or what kind of file systems, what applications are running, and so on and so forth. ODBC monitoring is much better right now, so you don't have to pre-configure your data sources anymore in a local file like odbc.ini. Now everything, basically all ODBC-related attributes can be part of the item key, like port name, the server IP address or DNS name, username, password, database, everything, yeah? So it is very cool, especially given the fact that now we may use a secret macros, and our DB username and DB password are very secure, yeah? So now everything can be part of item key. It basically means that it also can be part of the template. It can be all templated. We don't rely anymore on how our data source is configured in ODBC.ini file. Discovery of IPMI sensors, for those who does hardware monitoring using IPMI, we've got support of IPMI get metric, and it really simplifies discovery of IPMI metrics very, very much. This way we get much more simpler templates. In Zabbix 5.0, we have ability to test items from UI. Okay, what does it mean? It means that I'm sure many of us quite often, when we worked on a template or a new template, or we want to add a new item to existing host, it's sometimes it's not always easy to understand if everything is configured properly or not. Yeah. So now we have excellent test functionality for items, for templated items, and for items linked directly to a host. So basically what we do, we just, for templated items, we have to specify host address and the port. We press a button, get value, and this way we are receiving a value from the agent or from the other source. Zabbix will execute all pre-processing steps, like number one, some regular expression, number two, matches or it doesn't matches regular expression. Number 3, replace operation. It will show us result of each processing step and the final result as well. So this way we will be absolutely 100% sure that our item is configured properly. Yeah, so this is very, very nice functionality. And if something happens, if there are some error messages or some problems, you'll get a very clear message that, okay, we've got some problem with your item. And don't forget that in Zabbix 4.4 we also introduced a testing of media types, right? So if you're doing integration with some external ITSM system or alerting system, for example, now it's possible to test it just by pressing test button. Support of user macros for host prototypes. User macros were not supported before. Now they are supported. If you define a host prototype, you may also add some macros. And the good thing about it is that we may also use the values of LOD macro there. So we use LOD macro in a value of a user macro, and it really helps us to make monitoring much more automated in many cases. Zabbix 5.0, it supports float64 data type, and the benefit is that it is fully compatible with float64 returned by Prometheus, for example. And if you're asking me, well, will it be upgraded automatically because it looks like some changes in the historical table? No, it will not be upgraded automatically. Float64 is normally used for a huge values. Yeah, so if you monitor, I don't know, very huge values, then you would probably need float64. But what you need to do in order to upgrade your existing installation, just have to execute a small patch manually, or you can leave it as it is. So it's not a big deal. If float64 is not supported, that's fine. You'll be fine. We also made a number of scalability improvements. The first is we made sure that Zabbix UI is ready to handle millions of devices. And we made a number of improvements. We got rid of all drop-downs. Drop-down is a UI element which is not scalable enough. Okay, so no drop-downs anymore. We also hard-coded some maximum size for the overview grid. We also redesigned the monitoring host graphs to make it much more flexible. So this way we may display multiple graphs, and we have a pattern matching for graphs. Like if I want to see all graphs which are CPU related, then I could just search by CPU, and this way Zabbix would display CPU related metrics only. And what else? Also, we introduced paging whenever possible. So this way we are now absolutely confident that Zabbix UI is ready to handle monitoring of the millions of devices. Compression, let's talk about it a little bit. Remember that recently we introduced support of the timescale DB. I think it was introduced in Zabbix 4.4 or 4.2, I don't remember exactly now. But what is timescale DB? I will remind you. It's just a normal Postgres plus timescale DB extension. So it's really easy to set up. And the timescale DB has a number of advantages like automatic partitioning, which is really cool because in this case, Zabbix managed removal of older data, and removal of older data is instant. Okay, so it doesn't put pressure to your disk array or disk I/O. And it's a performance-oriented database in the sense that it delivers the same level of performance regardless of the database size, which is really cool. And now, some time ago, timescale DB introduced compression, and we support compression as well. And it basically means that now you may go to the configuration of the housekeeper and enable compression for your time series data, basically for historical tables, for history and for trends. For example, you may want to compress your data which is older than, say, 7 days or 1 month. And why would we need this? Well, compression is about data size. If our data is compressed, it takes much less space on our storage. Yeah, so which is really, really cool. But the only warning is that compressed data is read-only. Okay, so older data, it becomes read-only, and this is a limitation which comes from a time scale. It's not something Zabbix related. Today I actually received some numbers from a production setup. One of our users upgraded Zabbix to 5.0 with the timescale DB enabled compression. And in Zabbix 4.x, it was 355 gigabytes of database. And now in Zabbix 5.0, it's 43 gigabytes. All right, so it took about one night for timescale DB to make this compression. But as we can see, it's almost it's about 12%. Yeah, so it's about 12%. So we saved 99% of disk space. I think this is a huge improvement. So if you have a large databases, you don't want to spend storage anymore. You would like to get a better performance as well, because the smaller data, it means a better performance, because most of the data can be cached in a memory. So I would suggest you to look at the timescale and the decompression option. Zabbix 5.0 comes with a number of SNMP related improvements, and the most significant one is that we moved SNMP settings to host interface level. Remember that before, for those who are using SNMP for network management, you remember that we had SNMP version 1 agent, SNMP version 2 agent, SNMP version 3 agent item types. Now it's only SNMP agent, and all SNMP related parameters, they are on host interface level. There we define what SNMP version is used, all the security related configuration parameters, and so on and so forth. So it basically means that now we have much more simple templates. We don't need to have 3 templates for different versions of SNMP. We have a single template, so much easier to manage, much easier to configure. Yeah, so it's easy to manage, and also it's much more easier to switch from one version of SNMP to another version of SNMP. Availability monitoring in Zabbix 5.0 respects the proxy availability. So I think this is a very important improvement, and it's one of the top most voted requests from Zabbix users and from Zabbix community side. What does it mean? If you monitor a host availability right now, and our hosts are behind a proxy, so they're monitored by proxy, and say proxy is down, and we use this trigger like host A item no data 1 minute is 1. It basically means that we have no data from a host A, and if proxy is not available, Zabbix 4.x will generate 4 problems like host A is not available, host B not available, C not available, and proxy is not available as well. But Zabbix 5.0 is much smarter. It understands that, okay, host is monitored by proxy, proxy is down. It means that proxy is the reason why host is not available. And 5.0 will give you just one problem. Proxy is not available. It just works out of the box. Okay, so for no data, the normal no data function as it is now, it respects proxy availability. But if you want to be strict, then we should use a second parameter, which is called strict. And this is a strict check. Regardless of proxy availability, Zabbix will generate a problem if there is no data. Yeah, so that's how strict mode works. In Zabbix 5.0, it's possible to manage low-level discovery rules globally thanks to a filter for discovery rules. So now, for example, if you want to see what discovery rules are not supported anymore globally, not which are linked to a specific host, but on a global level, we may go to this filter, we select the state is not supported, and use this filter, and we can see what discovery rules are not supported, and we can fix them much more quicker. Yeah, and it's very useful for troubleshooting purposes, or maybe for some mass update operations. Zabbix 5.0 comes with the ability to acknowledge events. It's not about acknowledgement. Yeah, acknowledgement has been supported basically for quite some time, but its ability to unacknowledge events. So this is our new acknowledge pop-up screen. If problem was acknowledged, then basically we may unacknowledge it. And basically there are two use cases, I think. It's about fixing mistakes. If someone by mistake acknowledged the problem, there were no way to acknowledge it before, now it's possible. And also it may help us to create a better workflow between the various teams which are dealing with the problems which are generated by Zabbix. Another very nice feature, it is support of the overrides for low-level discovery rules. Okay, let me give you a quick example. So, for example, I want to discover a file systems on my Linux, okay, on a Linux server. And okay, Zabbix discovers the different file systems. It creates items for monitoring of those file systems automatically. It creates triggers and graphs. It's all made automatically. But suppose for some file systems, I want a different, I don't know, different trigger severity. Or I don't want to create some items. Or I don't want to create some triggers. For example, I have Oracle file systems like Oradata. And now it's possible to make an override. So if file system name matches Oradata, in this case, I create a new operation. I'd like to override a severity of triggers. I don't want to have a default one, which is a warning, but for all triggers having trigger space in their name, I want to set severity to high. Okay, so that's very nice. So this way, all file systems triggers will be with the warning severity, but Oracle-related file system will be with the high severity. So very cool. Or suppose I don't want to discover a temporary file systems. So in this case, if my file system name matches TMP, could be /TMP/var/TMP or something like that. In this case, I just create item operation. In this operation, basically, I don't want to create this item. Okay? If file system name matches TMP, the items will not be created, and therefore triggers and graphs will not be created for those file systems. So it really makes low-level discovery rules much more flexible. Zabbix 5.0 also comes with the support of new macros. Host ID for notifications. It really helps to build URLs to Zabbix UI. It also comes with the support of event tags JSON macro for notifications. Much easier to pass all tags to webhooks. And what I like very much is the event duration macro in notification. So basically, now your recovery subject may look like resolved in, and then you use event duration macro. So like resolved in 5 minutes, service and Jinx is done. So you can see clearly and immediately, okay, the downtime was just 5 minutes. Okay, I can ignore it. Or if downtime was like 1 hour, it means that, wow, it was a very serious problem. I had to troubleshoot, investigate it, and so on and so forth. And there are many other improvements. I will mention a few. Okay, so the size of acknowledged message was increased to 4 kilobytes. We now support Elastic, the latest Elasticsearch. What else? Zabbix sender time resolution was increased to nanoseconds. Okay, we've got a new API methods to get audit log. Now it's also possible to remotely monitor versions of Zabbix components if you have a huge Zabbix infrastructure with many Zabbix servers and Zabbix proxies running. This way you can remotely check that they're on the same version of Zabbix, for example. What else? The size of the item key has been increased to 2 kilobytes. Now it's also possible to flush SNMP cache. This is for those who use SNMP v3 monitoring. You know about this issue with SNMP v3. So at the runtime, you may flush SNMP cache. Yeah, and basically that's it. So what else? We also removed the some legacy stuff. So we don't support Internet Explorer anymore. So sorry guys, if you're on Internet Explorer 11, well, it's probably time to upgrade. We don't support IBM DB2 database. Okay, so now only 3 databases are supported, all 4. It's MySQL, Postgres, Oracle, and Timescale DB, which is basically kind of Postgres on steroids. So no support of the DB2 database. Important note is that the minimum supported version of the PHP is now 7.2. Okay, so this way we may produce much more safer and more strict code. So upgrade. As always, it is quite easy. You just install new server binaries. You make sure that you have PHP 7.2 in your system, and you install the front-end files. But there are a number of important notes to be aware of. First is that upgrading history data to float 64 is optional. I already told you about this, and it may take time. Okay, just a manual process. Compressed timescale database data is read-only, so be careful. Once it's compressed, you cannot modify it, or you cannot insert some older values into the timescale database. And yeah, so no support of DB2 anymore, and please read carefully upgrade notes for more details. Remember that you may upgrade quite easily Zabbix 3.x, Zabbix 4.x to 5.0. Yeah, you just install new packages, you run them, and Zabbix server will do upgrade for you. Another note is that if you want to upgrade your proxies and Zabbix server, you have to upgrade everything in one go. All right. Remember, we don't maintain kind of backward compatibility of Zabbix server and Zabbix or Zabbix proxy. Sorry. Yeah. So you have to move everything, your entire Zabbix infrastructure, server and proxies, to Zabbix 5.0 at some point. Well, thank you very much, and let's see if we have well, any questions. I will be very happy to respond. Dimitri.
Yeah, so thank you once again for the presentation, and we did have quite a lot of questions. I answered a couple of them and wrote down the other ones. First of all, the most important question to which I did not know the answer, will we be sharing this presentation?
Yes, I think so. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So for those who want to receive this presentation, please write down in the chat your email, and I know today or tomorrow you will receive it in your email. So, and the questions about the 5.0. The first is about the host level dependencies. So it was in the roadmap of 5.0. Apparently it's not implemented. So what are the plans?
Yeah, so what we implemented dependency on the proxies. Yeah, so this is kind of the first step. But I think that there will be. I think that the host level dependencies is really part of event correlation engine, which will be implemented. I really believe in 5.2 or 5.4. So this is a part of more complex issue. It's all about event correlations.
Thank you. The next one, Also about the plans to 5.0. So in the Benelux conference, Edgar's told us about machine learning, that it was going to be in the Zabbix 5.0. Do you guys have a status on that one?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a very good question. We really hope to introduce the machine learning in Zabbix 5.0. We made some deadlines, so I think that the machine learning will be part of Zabbix 5.2. Yeah.
Okay.
It's there. So it's October this year.
Yeah, thank you. Another one, which actually myself had this question, like since quite a long time, there are a lot of rumors about the screens in the front end, that they are gonna disappear with the dashboard as a replacement. So 5.0 is out and we still see the screens tab.
Yeah, sorry about this. We are still working on this. Yeah, it's not so easy. It appears to be not so easy. So yeah, our plan is still there. There will be no screen at some point, but I cannot tell you where exactly. I really believe that by 5.4 there will be no screens. Yeah, we are moving slowly in this direction, but yeah, it takes time to make this conversion.
Okay, the next one is more about our commercial services, about the training. So yeah, it is a fact that all of our trainings are for LTS version, and we will have a new training program for 5.0. Maybe you can share some information like when we can expect the first Zabbix 5.0 trainings.
Well, so Zabbix 5.0 training is coming very, very soon. Please stay tuned. I think there will be a newsletter sent. I don't know, I think this week or next week about new training programs. So just please subscribe to our newsletter or check our website. Trainings are coming and coming very, very soon.
Right. The next one also feedback from the Benelux conference. You mentioned that support is coming for integration with iTop. Is that still on the timeline?
It is obviously not part of Zabbix 5.0 yet, but I will double check. One thing I'd like to say is that as soon as we have a new integration, it will be immediately included into minor release. Yeah, and it will be available for everyone. So you don't need to wait till say 5.2 to get a new set of integrations. As soon as we have integration, it's there and available. I will double check about the iTop. I cannot tell out of my yeah, sorry.
All right. Also, there was a question initially about the support of Grafana, which I wanted to just ignore because it is supported like since long of the time, but then
Right.
they corrected the question. And are there any plans to make like official implementation Zabbix integration to the Grafana?
Well, we don't have such plans at this moment. It's not in our roadmap. I believe that the famous Zabbix Grafana plugin is good. Yeah, it's absolutely nice solution. So I don't think that we have to reinvent the wheel.
Mhm. Also about like official templates, there was a question, do we plan to increase the amount of the templates? And that already was answered that yes, of course, with each release, we publish many, many new templates. And more specific question about official templates to monitor Kubernetes.
Yes, so that was the initial plan for 5.0. We hope to include the monitoring of the Kubernetes into 5.0. It's still not there. It's not there. It requires a few improvements on the Zabbix side, yeah, because this Kubernetes environment is too dynamic, and we have to mm, make some changes in Zabbix, I would say. Yeah, it is coming Zabbix 5.2. It's being postponed.
Okay. We run out of my noted list, but there's still like quite a lot of the questions in the chat going on right now. I'll try to pick something interesting. Like there's classic question from each conference. What about mobile application for Zabbix?
Well, yeah, no, not in our roadmap, at least this year.
Okay. Also, the question about the support for the Postgres and the timescale. I assume the question is like, how will Zabbix support services treat database engines and some potential issues with the timescale DB?
Well, so at this moment, we do support officially Postgres, MySQL, and Oracle. So for timescale DB is still an experimental support. Yeah, so that's the current state because the timescale DB is quite fresh database engine and it evolves rapidly. So we're just taking time to see where it goes. Yeah, so. But you may expect official support of timescale DB in the future.
Thank you. Another one about the trainings, probably like a good question for the time where we are now. How about the remote trainings?
Remote trainings are coming.
Great.
Yeah, so please expect our official announcements very soon.
And what else? We have a lot of thank you, great presentation. That is super cool. Load balancing between the proxies, which was also in the roadmap.
Yeah, so the load balancing is also kind of a part of a bigger kind of cloud native topic, and it's not in 5.0. We made a number of improvements, but not there yet. Again, it's been postponed to 5.2.
Right. There are a couple of like more technical questions and also quite interesting ones like Apache or Nginx, MySQL or Postgres. I don't know, maybe I can even answer in that one.
Oh,
Like,
yes, please.
we can't really push you to choose one or another. Like, we suppose support both. MySQL, MariaDB also has a fork and a Postgres. But for you to make your life with a Zabbix, let's say, easier, you should choose the one which is more familiar to you. Because you will be responsible to, let's say, working and fine-tuning the database, solving some problems. Also, there was a question like, is it possible to migrate easily timescale DB? Question again probably is, so what is your current database engine? If you're right now on Postgres database, then yes, like implementation of the timescale DB and setting up like native partitioning and compression is pretty straightforward. If you're running, let's say, a MySQL, well, it is possible. It won't be easy. And then you should probably just consider if it's worth it for you to just switch absolutely like database engine to something else. When will the roadmap to 5.2 be published?
Well, I think it will take a few weeks to finalize it, and then it will be published.
Okay. Any plans for native monitoring of various services in AWS? I guess we could also add Azure and Google Cloud.
Yeah, it's coming 5.2 as well.
Cool.
Actually, we already we already started our work on AWS services. Yeah, so as soon as we have any news, I think we will publish some results.
Right. Any chance or plans to improve the Zabbix maps using OpenStreetMap support?
Yes, it is. It is in our roadmap, and actually we have a prototype for kind of for geographical maps. I really think that it will be part of future releases of Zabbix. Yes.
Okay. Question: when high availability for the server and the proxies will be supported? I guess you already answered about the load balancing part, but what about native high availability?
Yeah, I think it's all related. So high availability, redundancy, and load balancing is kind of all part of the same equation. So, yeah. So as I said before, we hope to deliver it 5.0, but we didn't. So it's postponed to 5.2.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, guys, any other questions? Is it beneficial to upgrade to Agent 2 on small to medium installations up to 1000 Mbps? Is upgrade safe for custom scripts on the agent side?
Well, it depends. I think you have to look at the list of features which are supported by Zabbix agent, by the new Zabbix agent, and decide for yourself. Yeah, so I don't think I can answer this question. Yeah, if you are fully satisfied with the older agent, I would keep it as it is.
I also did not understand like 1000 Mbps. Probably the question is about like the server. So
Probably server side. Yeah, I think so.
just confirm like if you currently have agent version first up and running without any issues, then there is no like need to migrate all of your environment to agent 2. There are a lot of questions, and I still don't understand what it is about. Hello, there is a dots for every made call on Zabbix Simple Graph. How can we disable it? I'm not sure
Yeah, I'm not sure as well.
question
So
is about. Can we receive presentation? Yes, all of you who want to get the presentation, just write your email in the chat, and we'll take care of that. How heavy will be Agent 2 comparing to Legacy Agent in terms of CPU and memory?
well, I think it depends what you will be monitoring with the new agents. It's more heavy. It will take a little bit more of memory, but it has much more capabilities built in, like the database monitoring, like support of various plugins. So I don't think you may directly compare the older agent with the new one. It really depends on how many plugins you have and how many kind of heavy checks are executed by the new agent.
All right. So release of 5.2 October, right?
Yes, it is, yeah.
What happens to existing SNMP items where SNMP settings were defined not on the host level?
Everything will be fine. So Zabbix will upgrade your system in a nice way, so you don't lose anything.
Okay. Why the user parameter command return data limit is 512 kilobytes? Do you intend to increase it? It's getting in the way when trying to implement solutions like monitoring directory contents.
Yeah, interesting question. I don't know where the limit comes from. Well, I have to double check. Maybe it's just a matter of increasing it and that's it. Yeah. Okay, I will double check. Okay, thanks for the question.
Availability was already answered, so the load balancing is in the roadmap of 5.2, and high availability is like we related to it. So you can expect next news in the 5.2. Do you guys have a plans to improve SNMP trap? Because now it's a lot of back-end work. Not sure what kind of back-end work, because yeah, like all the SNMP traps currently are managed by either the Perl script, which is also provided by the Zabbix and is available in the sources, or by SNMPTT, if you wish, and background work, SNMPv3. You mean like the credential part and the stuff that you must create a users, and that's like a
No, I think the question is about probably about the fact that we require kind of third-party software for managing SNMP traps, and basically, in order to manage them in a nice way, well, you have to deal with those scripts. You cannot make some manipulations using Zabbix UI or something like that. Yeah. Well, I know this is quite a serious issue for all guys using SNMP monitoring. Well, it's in our priority list. I cannot give you any promises about when and how it could be implemented or improved.
Right. Can we manage the agent configuration by pushing from the Zabbix server, like using the mass update on the agent config file? Not now, maybe in future.
Agent configuration. Well, not now. Yeah, maybe in the future. I think in the future there will be less and less parameters that you want to manage kind of in Zabbix agent configuration file. Well, maybe in the future. Well, yeah, it's hard to answer at this moment. I don't know. I have to think about it.
Even right now, when you're using, let's say, any configuration management tools to deploy your agents widely, let's say most important parameters are pretty dynamic. Like instead of specifying static values, you can use like hostname item or host metadata item. So that thing would discover the specific value on the host where the agent is deployed. So it's not that critical currently, in my opinion. Major features should we expect in 5.0 minor versions?
No, I don't think there will be major features in the minor versions. We don't deliver any new major features in minor releases, just only bug fixes and small minor improvements, which we're absolutely sure will not break anything. So all major features goes to 5.2.
Does the Zabbix Agent 2, so the new Zabbix Agent, has a permanent hook on a monitored agent, or it checks the host on a certain durations like Agent 1?
Sorry, I'm not sure I understood this question.
Me neither. Has a permanent hook on a monitored agent or a monitored host. It checks to the host. Not sure. Maybe you can write the question in some other words. Do you plan to provide the ability of the Zabbix agent to download the script from Git repo directly?
I think is this question about the templates or what kind of scripts you're talking about? Is it about like user parameters or? I think in the future there will be definitely a much better integration between the Git repositories and the templates. Yeah, so this way you could manage your templates basically using Git repository. It is coming in the future releases.
Yeah, so we confirmed that the question was about the user parameters. So probably again centralized management of the agent instead of like pushing user parameter files to all of the agents in environments. Just let's say specify some Git repository so the agents would connect and grab the user parameters.
Yeah, and I remember there were a number of talks at probably Zabbix conference or one of Zabbix conference about the centralized management of the user parameters in an efficient way. So you may also have a look to get some ideas maybe.
Okay. Anything on creating reports from the Zabbix directly?
Well, yeah, so at this moment, it depends what kind of reports you're talking about. If you're talking about the PDF reports, we did little progress in this direction yet. I hope there will be some improvements in the future. But for some real-time reporting, yeah, we may use existing dashboards. You may use Grafana. But obviously, it's not or third-party tools, any third-party tools, yeah, which may be connected directly to Zabbix database, for example, yeah. But not so much progress on the PDF reporting right now. I really hope that it will be improved because we see that many Zabbix users are so much interested in this.
Yep. My company prefers to use LTS versions only. How safe it is to use non-LTS versions for the production use?
It's absolutely safe to use non-LTS release, but make sure that just remember that we support LTS for 5 years, and we support non-LTS for, say, 7 or 9 months. Yeah, so that's the only difference. In terms of stability, they're equal. We apply exactly the same QA procedures and the coding standards and everything. So you can use any. We support any.
Okay, then I guess we could make just a couple of questions in addition, because we're already like taking 20 minutes of questions. So last one in the list: will we get export to CSV option in the latest data values or in the dashboard widget?
Probably.
Probably. We are in the stage of the Zabbix upgrade. Currently, we're on 3.0. Should we upgrade 4.0 or 5.0, as it's just released in the last few days?
Well, I think you may go directly to 5.0, no problem. Yeah, just make sure that your operating system is up to date. It contains all dependencies required for Zabbix.
Yeah, like this upgrade to 5.0, all of you have to be like extra careful before doing the upgrade, because we bumped all the minimal supported versions. So make sure that you're running on the recent operating system and all the dependency packages are up to date on your system. And of course, read the upgrade notes and once again go through the list of what's new, so you don't get any unwanted surprises after an upgrade.
Yeah, and first do it on your test environment and then go to production. Yeah.
Low-level discovery triggers. Will we ever be able to redefine a value of a macro on per trigger basis? Is it about a context, user macro context support?
I have no idea. Probably this question is about support of user macros on trigger level, but I don't think they will be. Yeah, or
the same result will be with a context support in a macro. So in the result, you can define a different values for different discovered entity.
yeah, I'm not quite sure what this question is about. Yeah, sorry.
After discovery, but the items created after discovery are fully based on this low-level discovery itself. So if you want to make any changes, that has to be done on the prototype level. Right.
Okay.
Post-level macro changes versus the trigger level. It's about the same question with the low-level discoveries. So I guess probably in the other words, the question would be like, if the trigger is created by a low-level discovery rule, and then on the fly I want to change the threshold value for this automatically created trigger. I think that's what the question was about.
Okay, I need to think about it. Yeah, I'm just still trying to understand. Yeah, I'm sorry. I just need some time to think about it.
Can we use a password encrypted certificate, PKI, host key file for the Zabbix agent? Yeah, there is a feature request for this one.
Yeah, so I think yes, but just need to double check with our devs, yeah.
Web scenario copy paste from one template to another.
Is it a question or a statement?
That's a question. Because there is no copy button for the web scenarios currently.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I don't think we implemented it 5.0, yeah. So, but if implemented, it might appear in one of the minor releases.
All right. I think it's the time when we should end today. We're already 15 minutes past the time. And what we can say in addition for those guys who still have their questions without an answer, there will be another webinar tomorrow, right? You can check the precise time in the Zabbix.com. About the presentation slides once again. If you have not do that yet, you can write your email in the chat and we will take care about it. So you will receive the presentation. What else?
All right. So, any Dimitri, we expect some more questions, or that's it?
Well, there are always coming in more questions, and I believe if we'll just continue going, then we could end up after 1 hour.
All right, I understand. So probably it's time to wrap up. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. So.
One another. Are you going to replace PHP-based API with Go or something else?
Yeah, actually, we are considering doing this, but it's a huge amount of work. Yeah, so we have to be careful with the decision.
Okay.
All right, then. So I guess we'll finish for today. There will be another webinar tomorrow. And well, thank you very much for being with us. And thanks for your questions, for tough questions as well. So thank you, and well, see you next time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alexei. Thank you, everybody, for joining, for your time, and see you later. Goodbye for now.
Bye.